Vogue. Talk.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, I think we're good. So let me hit record, and you can open with that.
Yeah.
Hang on, let's see. Okay. You start that over again.
Oh, I didn't know you were. Okay.
Oh shoot! Yeah, I was waiting for you. I was like, "What's going on?"
I was waiting for the intro.
Oh, I was gonna play that, and then I'll after a few minutes of that, I'll hit the intro and just flow in.
So let's just listen to this. Does it sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Meanwhile, we got a viewer going, "What the hell are they doing?" Yes, we set up the show while the YouTube live is running. That's the way we do business around here.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna do this.
To the republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, conceal carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And we are back once again into Saturday evening, and we are tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert, southern Idaho. And we're festive today.
Sure.
That was our shot at being festive.
That's our evil, creepy guy laugh.
You know, I think the only other holiday we've been festive for on this is Christmas.
Yeah.
We played some Christmas songs.
Yeah. You sure we didn't do Hanukkah?
Yeah,
you're probably not Hanukkah.
If we do Hanukkah, we'll get the Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one.
That would be awesome. But hey, the Gunslinger is back.
It's been a little hiatus, but
it's been months.
It has been.
It's been months. Where you been? What you been up to?
The summer months. They're
busy.
You know how it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
they're
just
busy.
happens. I mean, we get most of our good stuff in during the winter anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, that's when everyone can make it. In the summers, everyone is so busy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you like to go on 4-wheeler trips, and you're probably busier at work. You got a little different position over there now, so staying busy. I know. The old Cajun cowboy. It's hard to get him rousted up in here sometimes. We're all busy. We all go our separate directions, but
got a lot of yard work and stuff.
As it gets cold, everyone kind of comes back together, right, to form the nucleus of this cell that we call Patriot Defense.
Yeah, the PDPC.
There you go.
Patriot Defense Podcast.
There you go. So what have you done that's been Second Amendment related? You been out shooting at all, or? Not
a whole lot, no. I bought one of the new Remington 870s that came out. They're reproducing them, I guess.
Okay. Gotcha.
Got one of those.
I haven't been following, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm up to several ARs now.
There you go.
Got another one of those. Yeah.
I've got half an AR.
What do you mean half? Would you break it down?
I got rid of my lower.
Did you really?
It's a long story.
Oh, okay.
It's a long story. So I only have half of one now.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So what I have to do is I got to stick the rounds in the barrel, and I've welded a nail onto the end of a hammer, and then that's how I fire it.
You just whack it.
I whack it. That's how we make it go bang.
All right, cool.
Okay. So anything cool going on at the store? I mean, ammo, guns, anything, new coming in or out? No new guns as of
not
really.
Not like super new. I mean, we're getting in. I'd say we're getting stuff back in. It's just not. It's not like.
Well, guns are pretty plentiful now.
Yeah, but it's certain ones are still a little hard to get.
Right.
But most of the stuff is coming back in. It's not consistent, but it's not like.
You're not there's not empty shelves.
There's no empty shelves.
But I mean, the run on people buying the guns obviously has slowed way down too, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, we're still averaging probably about 8 a day.
Really?
I mean, that's
okay.
And that's pretty good. We're
right.
As of the 24th of this month, we'd sold 2,400 and some guns.
Oh, there you go. So what guns are people buying as far as handguns are concerned? What are they buying?
A lot of the 365 SIGs. Those are really popular.
X's flying off the shelf when you get them.
The what?
The X's.
Yeah. You
got the XL and you got the X.
The XL and the X's. Yeah, there's a lot of people looking for the manual thumb safety ones though.
Well, I don't get that.
Yeah, well, it's to each their own.
Is
right?
it because it's the new gun owners? You think that's what it is?
I think a lot of it is. Yeah, they just it's that nice fuzzy feeling inside. That,
and that's fine. I mean, you can train for that.
Yeah.
It's not a total.
The biggest thing is just remember, people, that there is no trigger fairy out there to steal your trigger.
Yeah.
So you don't got to keep reaching down, feeling that trigger.
It's gonna be there.
It's gonna be there
every time. Damn that trigger fairy.
Yeah.
So so some of the newer guns that came out like earlier this year. Okay.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The Shield Plus and the Max 9 and some of those.
What's the feedback on those? I really haven't had any of those come through my classes, but what's the feedback on those? I mean, are they holding up? Is there complaints?
I think it took a little bit for the Shield Plus to kind of take off, but there's getting a lot more interest in the Shield Plus over the 365 and the Hellcat.
Are they as gnarly? Have you shot one?
No, they're almost identical size to a normal Shield.
Are they gnarly to shoot as the Shield? Because the Shield's kind of gnarly to shoot.
It's not as, I don't know. I didn't ever have a problem with the Shield.
I don't know. I guess maybe it's just a first gen Shield.
It could be, because mine's a first gen.
I really I think overall the guns, I've said it on here before and I'll say it again constantly. SIG P365, in my mind, that's the one.
It's a good one.
It's very good sizes. That's the one.
I've kind of, I'm not going to do it for a while, but I've thought about changing my carry gun.
Ooh,
because I generally carry a Shield, but I do like the Shield Plus. It's the grip is just a little bit fatter,
right,
to accommodate that double stack. And I honestly believe if the Shield came out with that fatter grip from the very beginning, I would be all over it. I mean, I like that just a tad bit wider.
And maybe that's because it is a little wider grip now, like you said. Maybe I would like it better because I don't like those real thin, grips.
Right.
Like, so maybe I would like it better. So maybe I should shoot one. Maybe you should borrow one from the store. We should take it for a test drive.
Just take a test spin.
Yeah. So I may check something like that because that has me thinking now. Well, anything else? I mean, what other firearms?
We're getting a lot of weird shotguns, and when I say weird
shotgun,
I say weird because
there's almost no shotgun ammo. Though.
Everything coming out right now, shotgun wise, is made in Turkey. I mean, there's a bunch of Turkish shotguns running around out there now.
Are they trying to bank off the Canik? Are they Canik brand? Are they Canik brand shotguns?
No, they're not. They're Hudson, or there's some weird one I can't pronounce.
Right.
And when we check them in, we have.
I'm yawning. You're not boring. I promise you.
We have fun trying to check those things in because you got to put in your manufacturer and you got to figure out who the importer is. It's quite a chore sometimes. Trying to get all the information right, just in case we ever get audited. So I'm trying to think.
I've got a little update on my VP9.
Oh, which VP9?
The one I carry.
Okay.
So it's the old lower, the new upper.
Right.
And I combined them to make one. So, I put that aftermarket trigger in that I was really happy with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't for two things. I spent a lot of time in the last 3 or 4 weeks, on these women's classes and a lot of classes I had, talking about trigger reset. I only have a month left of the Women's Shooting Academy. And so I'm really trying to just let them free shoot a little bit, but really focusing on trigger press and trigger reset, trigger press and trigger reset.
Yeah.
And I'm finding that there is stock guns out there that have a better, even though that trigger is good, that to me, unless the trigger has changed some, which I think it may have a little bit, but has a better reset than.
Oh, the reset. I got what you're saying.
So let me talk to you about this though. So the little safety thing in the middle of the trigger?
Yeah.
The tip of mine broke off. I don't know where it went. It's metal. It just broke. I wasn't there when it broke. I just picked it up one day and went, what the hell?
Huh.
So now you have to make sure your finger is kind of in the center of that trigger.
Oh, you can't ride the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
I'm a little irritated.
Bringing up trigger reset.
It still shoots, but go on.
Yeah. It's amazing when I show people at the counter about the trigger reset, because they always talk about, oh, that's such a long, the uptake in the trigger is so long. And I'm like, yeah, well, here's the thing is, once you fire that first shot, if you do it right, if you practice, you won't have that uptake anymore.
I explain that to people, and I've had 2 people, and it's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
They mistake that when we talk about that a little bit with on the striker fired pistol. They mistake that. So is that double single? No, it's not. But if you think about it, it's damn close.
It's close, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same idea, but it's not.
Yeah, it's still double action essentially, because
but
2 actions happening.
But if you do it right, but most people don't know how to do it right to begin with. They have to be taught that.
Yeah.
So here's something I had. Can you not hear anymore?
It's gone dead on me, so I'm gonna switch them out really quick.
Oh, okay. So I had 2 people show up for a class on Friday. We were doing the behind closed doors class, and they had 2 Performance Center M&Ps, 9 mils. I don't know if they were the actual. You have to go to the front. Oh. I don't know if they're actually 2.0s or not. I don't believe they were the 2.0, but they were Performance Centers. Beautiful guns, right? They all run well. Well, the lady, she's been taking my women's class all summer. And so I know that gun, and I know her, and her husband showed up, and he has the exact same gun, just minus the red dot. And we were talking about trigger reset, and we were talking about all that stuff. So when you find trigger reset, and maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, I've never had a gun. I've never seen a firearm where when you're finding trigger reset, you don't get that audible click or that feel, right? His does not have it.
Oh, really?
You have to, he was doing great, but he was struggling a little bit because he was trying to figure out
where it is.
He had to gauge where his finger and like the pressure, you could feel the tension release on the trigger.
Yeah.
That's what he had to search. And that was hard to do.
Huh.
When you normally, because everyone has electronic ears, right?
Right.
So you can feel or hear that audible click.
Yeah, it's really tactile or whatever.
There's nothing there. There is nothing there.
Huh.
I've never seen, and they're the same gun pretty much. And so the woman was like, I wonder why his is like, I was like, I don't know, man.
Probably put a sponge in there to absorb. I don't know.
Something, but it is the weirdest thing ever. There was no, and so it took him a little while.
Yeah.
But I watch him, and he's trying to, shoot quickly, and he's going to reset. So it's a lot shorter press after that. He's trying to judge it, but every third time he ends up taking his finger clear off the trigger because he doesn't know where to freaking stop that thing.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
I don't know. But in this gun, literally, this class, he bought the gun at the same time as his wife's. She's put tons of rounds through hers.
Uh-huh.
He hadn't even put a box of shells through his, a full box of shells, and he brought it to class. The gun ran great.
Yeah.
But I think he went through like 400 rounds here. But he could not, there was not that click.
Oh, that's gotta suck.
Oh, it did. So I felt so bad for him. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Huh.
But we kind of worked with it, and he kind of got it figured out. But that's the weirdest thing that I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
I had some ladies today that brought in, I don't know who the gun belonged to, but they were looking for kind of an appraisal on what the gun was worth, but they were also wondering why the trigger wouldn't work in it. And I'm like, okay, let's check this thing out.
Yeah.
Had to go clear it, make sure it was all that.
Yeah. Got to eject any live round.
Yeah. And I can't remember what it's Smith & Wesson model. I can't remember 39 or whatever. 3905
or something.
No,
is it a revolver?
No, it's a semi-auto.
Okay, I like this 6906 or 3 or.
This is a double action, single action.
Dude, this is modeled after a Smith & Wesson.
It kind of looks like that.
Yeah. That was almost my first. Sorry, that was almost the first carry gun that I ever got because I just couldn't find one.
It's a single stack. Anyway, I think it's 3902 or -2 or something.
Yeah.
But they were wondering why the trigger just didn't work on it. And I kind of ran it through the paces. I pulled the hammer back, still didn't work. Decocker worked great. Hammer goes forward. I'm like, okay, wait a second. And I'm like, I cleared it and there was no mag in it. There's no round and everything. And I started thinking, wait.
Had a mag safety.
It had a mag safety.
Had a mag safety.
Yeah, that was like my first thought. And the gal's like, well, I don't know. It just doesn't work. And I'm like, well, hang on just a second. She brought it in a box.
Let me look and see if there's a magazine.
It was some like, it was a cardboard box with some gift wrapping in it.
Yeah.
And then the gun was just sitting in there and there was a box of ammo and I had to dig around through the gift wrapping and found the magazine and it was loaded. So I unloaded the mag and, made sure it was clear again before I did anything else. Yeah. And I told her, I'm like, I believe it has a mag safety, but and I checked it out and sure enough, that's what it was. And she goes, oh my gosh, I thought I was going to have to take it to the gunsmith before I went and sold it.
He probably would have charged you $100.
Oh yeah.
I told you fixed it.
And she's like, well, how much can I get for this? I said, well, it depends where you take it.
Was it silver?
No, it was a blued. Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was beat up. Pretty
9 mil.
9 mil. Yeah.
I probably would have. How much did you tell her?
I told her I would start just judging by what I was seeing on the internet.
Right.
This one was pretty rough.
$400 to $600.
I said about $450 to maybe $400.
I'd have given her rough. 3 out the door.
Yeah, well, that's probably more than like Reds or somebody would have done. So, but I told her that you're better off doing a private sale, probably for money wise, than to go to someone and have them.
Did you get her card?
No, but
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah, it was. I was tempted because I'm like, man, that is kind of cool.
You don't. It's like the old like I won't say Law and Order, but like Law and Order type.
Yeah,
guns.
no, they started making them in. I did some research. They started making them in about like 1950 something, 54.
Yeah,
and they stopped making them in about 1983.
I've shot a few of them and they're shit. But man, I've always wanted at least the one that I had.
Yeah, give me that one.
I've always wanted one.
It looked, I mean, it was rough, but I'm sure everything functioned well on it. So I'm sure it would fire.
Sweet. I'm going to have to find me one. I'll tell you what. Did you hear, you haven't listened to the previous podcast, have you?
I haven't listened to any podcasts. I've been.
Running gun. I acquired a gun and I don't have it out here to show you. I'm sure you've handled them before. It's a 380.
Okay.
Kel-Tec P3AT.
Oh yeah.
That's not bad. The trigger press is really long, but it's crisp. It's not heavy. Does it fit in my hand worth of crap? But it doesn't bark. I mean, Tarver's DB9 is like 10 times worse than that 380.
Well, I shot that DB9. It about jumps out of your hands.
That thing is horrible.
Yeah.
I handed the Kel-Tec P3AT to a newbie, to a brand new shooter, and they did fine with it.
Huh. I think it's funny they called it the P3AT. It's a P380.
And the AT, and then they have the P3 or PF9.
Yeah. They just play. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I don't know. I was never expecting to come across something like that. And I don't know.
So it's lightweight.
Super light. Super
easy to carry.
Like, like fit. Not that I'm going to carry it like this, but like fit and disappear in your back pocket. Small.
Yeah. Just slides right.
I need to get me a nice nipple holster. Something up there. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Did they make such a thing?
A chest rig, maybe? I don't know.
Chest rig. I don't like being.
Get one of those belly bands.
There you go. That's probably the way I should go.
Yeah.
Hat holster.
There you go.
Hat holster.
Strap it to right where your flashlight sits. Just strap it like right next to it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Just however you got to do. I don't know. Like this.
Maybe a belt buckle. Anyhow, I was kind of impressed. I thought that thing was going to be just gnarly to shoot, but it's not.
It's probably not because it's just a low,
Oh, well, even I've had there's Ruger 380s that are horrible.
Yeah, but they're tiny. They're about like that DB9 size. This one's going to be a little fatter. So
not a lot.
You don't think so? I think it's
I've got it in the house. It's thin.
Oh, huh.
It's thin. But I got like missed 2 fingers hang off the bottom of it.
Yeah,
It's little. I was ringing steel with it. The sites suck.
Oh yeah.
The sites suck bad.
Get that fingernail polish.
I need to
out.
see if we can get a red dot on there.
Oh, jeez.
Do they make like a micro red dot?
Just get some rubber bands and just rubber band it on there.
There you go. Whatever. Bubble gum. So no other cool stories from the,
Oh, there's probably some, but I can't remember them. It's one of those things where, when I leave for the day,
when they happen.
I just leave it there. Yeah. Otherwise I'll dwell on it too much.
Yeah. I hear you. So, I'm trying to think if there's anything new. Well, I opened up my women's courses for next year, my women's shooting academies.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's very interesting around here. I'm not picking on this area. I find it fascinating. So, and I guess I can understand this, but I made what it's called landing pages. So it's like a separate website, but it's just a page.
Yeah.
It gives a description, everything in it, gives a spot for people to sign up. Right. And I made 2 of them this year, beginners and an advanced, because I found that and I talked about it last episode, it's people that want to move on. There's people that are fine just shooting and maintaining, and that's fine. So I made 2 of these landing pages and places to sign up. And you have to go, when I put them on Facebook, you have to go there and click the link. It gives you all the dates. It gives you, have you seen them? Have you seen my landing pages?
I think you've posted maybe that's not what it was.
Well, I'm going to pull it up because it's actually pretty cool. I think they are. I was really excited about it. So pull it up here. So scroll through that. I created that. I made that. And so I posted those links up on social media for those who wanted to join. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
At the very bottom, you can sign up and you pay for it and everything right there. It's nice. It's pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I put some time and effort into that. And anyhow, I did 2 of them. I can't get anyone to click on the link. Not that people don't want to take the class, but I can't get anyone to click on the link, right? I have a quick description of it. I put it on there and no one clicks on the link. But so what I did is I just made a flyer like I did for the last one, throw that up on Facebook, and my phone lights up.
Oh, wow.
I can't figure out the marketing for this area, right? There's nothing wrong with this area. I just can't figure out the marketing and what triggers people. I can't.
That's pretty legit.
It is. I built that myself.
There's only one thing on here that I would question.
What?
It says you also run a successful podcast.
So it's in certain people's eyes. So I don't know, it's just interesting because then they call me and say, well, I saw that picture you posted and I want to join. I said, okay, well, here, go to this link.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to the link. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. It's just funny how it works. I bummed out for 3 days. No one's signing up for my classes. And then I change it up and all of a sudden people are calling me. That's good. I'm not complaining.
No, that's cool.
I just think it's interesting how
that's really neat. Actually, I kind of like that.
I thought so. Thank you. Yeah. You appreciate my hard work.
That's pretty legit, I must say.
Yeah. I built that. It only took me forever.
Okay. Which one of your kids did you have help you?
Nobody.
Oh, wow.
This is actually what I have invested my time into this summer since it was kind of slow.
Yeah.
So I went online and I took some Zoom classes.
Oh, okay.
From this, you've probably maybe heard me talk about it, some Zoom classes from this guy who runs a successful shooting school down in San Diego. And he's into marketing. And that's what he started out doing before he did his shooting school.
That's cool.
And he used to do marketing for Porsche and stuff like that. And so we learned how to do all this stuff. So it's pretty cool. And I think if I was in a bigger area like San Diego, I know how to market on Facebook now. Yeah. I mean, serious market, not just put up an ad.
See, folks, it's never too late to learn.
You can teach an old dog new tricks. but where that old dog lives, they've got to be open-minded to it.
True. Yeah.
So anyhow, no, I don't regret the class. I learned a lot of cool stuff. So
that's cool.
I'll just keep kind of pouring it to social media and see what happens. I don't know. But anyhow, let's get on to bigger and better things. Let's talk about The View. Did you ever think we'd have a clip or talk about... The View.
I get mad when I talk about The View.
Yeah. So I've got to actually have a clip.
Okay.
An audio clip that we're going to listen here that, before everyone just says, oh, they're going to play something from The View and, shuts the podcast off. And don't get pissed off at me. You need to take a minute and take a listen.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard this. So
take a listen.
We recently talked in Hot Topics topics about how more black women were becoming gun owners. And you just became one of them, Sherry, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I bought a 9mm.
Why?
Gun because, well, I don't know why you laughing, but during the quarantine, I felt really helpless, Joy. When we're talking about depression, I felt like Jeffrey would look at me like, he was so scared. I get these little alerts in my neighborhood app about it's going to be a march through the neighborhood. And I started feeling like, how am I going to protect my son if something happens? And I got some of my girlfriends who are actresses, and we all went to a gun shop in California. There's only 2 black-owned gun shops. I think it was like a Redstone Firearms, Geneva and Jonathan. And
they lean really hard on the whole black aspects of it, on the race aspect. So just prepare yourself for that, and you'll see how it kind of takes a turn. But I mean, so far so good, right? I mean, I would never expect to hear this on The View. Yeah, and you could tell if you go to YouTube and watch the clip. Like, I mean, they've talked about it before, but you can still the other co-hosts are like, what, and even the crowd didn't believe it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is I know it's the Joy Behar or whatever.
Joy Behar is on there. Yeah.
Is it the Whoopi? Is this the one?
Whoopi's not on there, and she used to be, but I don't think she's on there anymore. She's not on this episode.
Gotcha.
So we'll continue.
And we went, and I felt very empowered when I bought this gun. I took lessons. I took the test. I go to the range with my girlfriends like every other week. And it just makes me feel like at least if something happens, I can protect my child.
So here we go. We got a woman from The View who was in the past, I think, very anti gun. Yeah. Tell what happened during the lockdown, what happened during COVID. We've talked about it all the time. People get sick of hearing it. We had a lot of people who were normally anti-gun or people on the left that were fighting against your gun rights actually purchase firearms. Why? Because they were scared. Why? Because their neighborhoods were breaking down. And as their neighborhoods were breaking down, people were calling for defund the police. Yeah. Right. And you actually see, and I'm going to make it about race a little bit too, but you'll see where this goes in a minute. You actually get, you have more black people buying guns, more African Americans purchasing firearms because they live in those areas that are going to be affected if you defund the police. They live in those areas where all these protests were taking place.
And you and I always say, even with the police, you still are the first responder.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So,
and in some of those, during those riots, during those protests, and I don't know if it was necessarily where she was at in California. That's where it sounds like she was at. But in a lot of these cities, they were coming out on the news. The mayors of these cities come and said, the police aren't coming. They're not going in there. We're not sending them in there. You're on your own. So.
Yeah, I will tell you, I've had so many friends, my black girlfriends also get guns, especially during the pandemic. And they wanted me to get a gun. And as a former federal prosecutor and someone who has been to crime scenes and has seen a lot of gun violence in my career, I know the statistics, and that when you do have a gun in your home, you are more likely to kill a loved one or a relative.
So
okay, where did she get those statistics from?
Well, those statistics, I don't know if I buy them, but here's what boggles my mind.
Cracker Jack box.
As a former, and I don't have this woman's name, as a former federal prosecutor, right?
Yeah, prosecutor. Yeah,
prosecutor. I'm all over that. Prosecutor. She's seen the violence and gun violence. As a former federal prosecutor, you should see the reason to own a gun.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with scum, you're dealing with garbage, you're dealing with crimes. I mean, this absolutely makes no sense. If you see what
potentially can happen, then why aren't you, taking, responsibility,
Yeah. And as a prosecutor, wouldn't you have a firearm?
I would think
I want to say she's freaking lying. Yeah. I want to say that she has a gun. That's what I want to say. I think she has a gun and she's not letting on because she doesn't want to sully her whatever appearance on The View in front of her friends. Because how can you be a prosecutor and not get threats daily, if not, weekly? Right. I mean,
yeah, come on.
Here's the thing. She either had a gun. Okay. And if she doesn't have a gun, guess what? She was protected by people that had guns.
That's true. I was about to say that she's probably got arm protection.
So she wants to do what? She wants to subcontract her violence.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. That's what all the elite, not that she's elite, but that's what all the elite do.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess if you're striving to be elite, and I'm sure these women that are on The View think they are the
you just call
elite.
rip. That's what you do. You
just call rip. Yeah. But they don't want you to have firearms, but they're okay. And they don't want to have firearms, but they're okay with people protecting themselves with firearms.
Right.
Just like locally here over the last legislative session here in Idaho, when there was a bill that was going to allow people who had the Idaho Enhanced Concealed Carry Permit to like carry in schools. Yet they voted it down up in the state house. They voted that down. The people who are surrounded by armed officers, security officers, voted down. They wanted, this is what they said. They said, I forget, one of our local guys here in the Magic Valley, I forget what his name is. If Forrest is here, he could tell you.
Yeah.
But he said the sign that says no weapons allowed on the outside of the school was enough. That was enough to keep our kids safe at schools.
Oh.
But they needed security, right? They made this decision surrounded by armed security.
Because that's obviously worked before.
To protect them. Not to mention that at the State House, at the Capitol building in Boise, you can walk in there armed.
Yeah.
They do not stop you.
Yeah.
And so how much
there's another thing we're going to talk about that has something to do with that too.
How often has there been a shooting up there? Right? It's we got a little off track, but
just recently. But anyway, we'll get off on that.
not in the
State House, but
not in the State House.
There is a link to that though.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get into that later.
Pretty interesting. So anyhow, we'll jump back on the right boat now.
And the suicide rate goes up in your own home when you have a gun. And I understand about the training, but I will say when I asked them, why are you getting a gun? One said, I Googled Civil War and 2020. One said, it's the propensity of certain people to initiate violence when they don't get their way. And in the article that we were given, it said, when you are being targeted, you hear stories like Breonna Taylor and Sandra Bland, and you have these incidents going on all across the country. You want to know you have at least a chance of survival because some people are radical. And I think we have to remember that the FBI has made it clear that the... I'm
going to come out and say, you want to protect, and it could those people she's talking about that have guns. Everyone has their own reasoning, but I don't like what she said there. So she slipped in that people are buying guns because they want to protect themselves from people who are radical. I want to say that guns are such a commonplace item anymore, and it is our Second Amendment right that if you choose not to have a firearm, you're the one being freaking radical.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Breonna Taylor was not targeted. I don't know how she uses that as
wasn't that the no-knock warrant?
Yeah. How is that targeting?
I don't know. You haven't heard, they're just waiting to shift the steer.
She just was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
They're waiting to steer the ship again. Hang on.
White supremacy is the most persistent and lethal threat to the country. And I think that is why so many Black women and Black people in general are now arming themselves.
White supremacy. Okay. And I don't want to talk race here, but I think
that's the worst thing in this country right now.
That's the worst thing in this country right now.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I still believe that in this country, our readiness to sort of allow arms to be purchased at will and fired at will has led to violence and hatred becoming a really popular.
Can you go into Twin Falls and fire a gun at will?
No. Yeah. I don't know who Will is. No, just kidding. Yeah. But no, you can't. You can't just go around doing desk pops anywhere you want to go.
You just can't. That's illegal.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
That's reckless endangerment.
I don't think you think that. Yeah, it doesn't mean what you think it does.
Let me just give you a piece of information. Okay, because I'm a big gun control person. Back in the 60s, the NRA fought alongside the government for stricter gun regulations. Why? Because there was an effort to keep the guns out of the hands of African Americans as racial tensions grew.
Yeah. They wouldn't even give Dr. King a concealed carry permit. The same man that was killed by gun violence.
So if more Black people get guns, you're going to see bigger gun control.
So I don't understand this because what you guys aren't seeing because you're not seeing the video. So far, the two people that have talked, except for Joy Behar, and she's white as white can be, right? are African American. They're two black women. Are the one speaking. The one that got the gun, and the other one that was a federal prosecutor used to be. She's a black woman, right? So she was totally against it. Now she's jumping to the point where she's saying, and they wouldn't let African Americans have firearms. They kept firearms from them. They held us down. They wouldn't let us have firearms. You just said you didn't think anyone should have freaking firearms. Yeah. Make up your damn mind.
And if they're talking gun control, look at what happens in Chicago every day, every weekend, whatever.
Make up your damn mind.
There's your gun control. That's working out for you really well.
Yeah, they're playing both sides of the fence.
And I'm telling you, I'm not trying to make this about race, but there is a specific race that's doing that to themselves.
Yes.
In Chicago.
Black on black violence, people.
Yes.
Black on black violence. It's not and they talk about statistics. It's not white on black violence. No. There is a little bit of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And there is. I'm not doubting that. But black on black is huge.
Yeah.
You're killing your own people.
Yeah. Why aren't they addressing that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, oh, it's just Chicago. I'm like, okay. And I'm not trying to advocate. I'm not trying to make this about race.
Right.
At all. It's just, that's what they're doing. I mean.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
We got to hear Joy's take on this.
Okay.
Everyone's on the edge of their seat waiting for Joy Behar's words of wisdom. I can't even keep a straight face on this.
Laws, watch.
And I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying as a single woman, the helplessness I felt. And when I looked at my son and he looked at me like, Mom, I'm scared.
Why is that? Why is she the helplessness she felt? So she felt she had to go out and get a gun. This is the woman that bought the gun.
Yeah.
She had to go out and buy a gun. Guess what? A firearm, a gun is the great equalizer.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, it's especially, I don't care if you're black or white or brown, it doesn't matter to me. It is a great equalizer for women alone, period, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a strength issue. There's all kinds of stuff. And we talked about this on the podcast a while back. And I know I had some people that disagreed with me, right? But I mean, I look at my daughters and I look at some of these women in my class and we had a discussion. And I'm not saying they get attacked more than anyone else, but you know what? They live their life differently, and they have to think twice about walking out to their car at night, leaving a store. Is it in the light? Is there people over there? Or running on a trail? Is that a safe place to be? Should I be there? What's going to happen to me? And I have more and more women ask me, is that a safe area where you go run? Can I go run down there? Is that safe? And I don't ever have to think about that stuff.
She was just talking about her kid.
Yeah.
Like, how's she going to protect her kid?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. I knew physically I'm not able to combat. I take self-defense lessons.
What do you think, Essie?
I'm a gun owner as well. And you don't have to sell me on the empowerment I feel. Knowing how to use firearms and having firearms. But it breaks my heart that so many people in this country feel so unsafe, that women feel unsafe from men, that black and brown people feel unsafe from the police, that Asian American people feel unsafe from discrimination, that kids feel unsafe in their cities. I mean, that breaks my heart. And as much as I love that you are now a proud gun owner and someone who's, I know, going to be real responsible with your gun, it breaks my heart that we are so quick.
I don't know if I'm proud. I'm just, that's the only thing I feel like I'm doing.
I get it. We have to, I'm sorry. Yeah. We have to go. I feel if I got a gun, I'd shoot myself. I'd shoot myself in the foot. I'm such a klutz.
Keep it in a place where I keep my gun. I keep my gun next to my, in the drawer next to my special toy. So if you come in my house, if you come in my house, you're going to get a happy ending or ending.
So we missed, and I guess I got to talk and kind of passionate right in there. I missed the part. I guess I overlooked the part where Joy Behar said she's talking to these black women that have purchased firearms, and they talked about the rise of blacks getting firearms and African Americans purchasing firearms. She said, just look, they're going to issue in more gun control because of that.
Yeah. No. They're trying.
No.
They were trying to before any of that.
Everyone was created by God, and it's a God-given right to be able to defend yourself.
Yeah.
With a stick, with a gun,
regardless
with a rock,
of your
with a match.
Regardless of your upbringing, it doesn't matter about skin color,
your creed, your ethnicity, anything. Your sexual preference.
Yeah. None of that matters. It's all everyone's right. Everyone's.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was a fascinating clip to me. I never thought I'd hear something like that.
That's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy.
On The View. And I think that those other women that were talking to this woman that bought this firearm, I think they were having to like backtrack. And if you listen to them talk, they had to figure out how to
get around it
and make it work and get back to what they are consider their core values.
Well, they didn't want to downplay the woman that got the gun. They didn't want to take that away from her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they were trying to get their point across still.
And good kudos to the woman who bought the gun, because you know what? She did it right.
Yeah,
she went to a gun store. She's training. She goes and shoots like every other week.
Yeah. That's great.
That is great. That is, and I love all my students, but that's better than probably 90% of my students do.
Mm-hmm.
She's going out and she's doing that. She's a responsible gun owner. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure,
hopefully she'll raise her son up to be the same way.
Exactly.
But I don't know. That was a good clip. That's probably my favorite clip that I found for tonight's show.
That was a good topic especially where you have, the intrigue of the left-leaning person on The View.
Yeah.
Buying a gun.
Yeah.
You just don't hear that.
No,
you
don't. So. And she, kudos to her for coming. It was great for ratings, I'm sure. But I mean, she came out and she talked about it, and she wasn't afraid to talk about it. So
maybe that'll open eyes for more people saying, hey, maybe I'm thinking about this all the wrong way.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. So there was a shooting.
Yeah. Kind of close to home.
Shooting up in Boise, up at the Boise Mall. And that's honestly, I think they might have said that was like, well, we haven't had we had the thing at the school. So that's a school shooting. But as far as what they consider like a mass shooting in the eyes, I think that was one of Idaho's first.
Yeah, probably.
And so it happened earlier this week. I forget what day it happened on.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, but I will say thank you. I had a ton of people that actually listen to this podcast reach out to me, send me emails, send me text messages. There's probably 5 or 6. They asked me, they don't know where I live over here, right? They don't know they just know I'm in Idaho. And they wanted to know if me and my family were okay. And the guys that did the podcast, they wanted to know if they were all okay. And I assured them that we all were, and that was about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from us. And I really, thankful for their concern. They don't know me. They never met me. They listened to me on the podcast. I really appreciate them checking in on us. That was very kind of them. But what has happened, and I don't have the guy's name. I don't even know if I want to mention his name. But there was a guy that, and I don't know, maybe you, as you're looking there, Mark, maybe you can find more information. And there's still not a lot that they have actually released about it. But there was a gentleman that he had a felony out of like Ohio or somewhere. But it was a felony. It was like a theft felony. And so when you're in Idaho, you got that felony. It was only for theft. So in Idaho, you could still purchase a firearm. Now, this gentleman went in to shoot up the mall. We don't know a whole lot of why he was there or what he was doing. This is what I've gathered. So what I've gathered is he spent some time, I don't know how soon before, but he spent some time. He was on law enforcement's radar because he showed up to our Capitol building up in Boise, and he was armed there, which you can legally be armed in the Capitol building.
Mm-hmm.
He was armed. He went in there and he was wanting to talk, him and his friends, whoever, he was wanting to talk to the governor. I don't think he ever actually made it to the governor, but he wanted to talk to the governor about letting people know that if you are a felon in the state, if it's not a certain kind of felony, that you can still own a firearm.
There's some Idaho code that,
Yeah, and you wanting people to be aware of the code. Now, this guy was very racist. He had a Facebook page. He was very racist against everyone but who he thought the whites. Right. And he was kind of trouble. And I have a feeling he kind of liked to show off quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, the Boise Town Square Mall, that is a gun-free zone. That is a no carry zone. There's a private business that says no carry in there. And this is what I think. I think he went down there and I think he had a problem with the security guard, honestly.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, I haven't read this anywhere, but this is just Todd thinking, trying to put pieces together. Sometimes pieces where there are no pieces to put together.
Yeah.
But I think, I wonder if he was so adamant about his Second Amendment rights. I wonder if he went down there at one point and they asked him to leave. And I think maybe he was disgruntled and he went back. And I don't think his intention was to go in there and shoot people up. I think his intention was, I think he went down there to talk to the security guard, because the security guard was right there, I guess. And he was the first one shot, I think.
Well, yeah, it was either him or the guy from Rupert.
So I think he was shot. And then this is just me again. I don't think he was walking around just picking people off. I think what has happened, honestly, is I think that there were ricochets and all kinds of stuff that hit people.
That's potential. Yeah. That's a good potential for that.
There's no article that I've read that said he went in there and he was just picking people off. We don't even know what kind of gun it was. I'm sure it was just a handgun.
Yeah.
But I think he was shooting at one person. I think he was intent. He had disgruntled. I think he had a temper.
They said there was 18 rounds fired in the mall.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about outside after the confrontation.
In the mall. So that's including his and law enforcement. Or
No, he fired 18 in the mall. And then he met the law enforcement outside the mall is what I understood.
Okay, gotcha.
This was on Monday, by the way.
So, I mean, I could be wrong. This may be just, like I said, I have a feeling he went there. I think he was disgruntled. I think he was having a conversation or wanted to make a point. And I think that he was a hothead, and I think he drew a gun, and I think it went from there at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at his Facebook and all of his stuff. He totally was a hothead.
Don't get me wrong; he was still absolute trash, and I'm not. He should never have done that, and he actually had died, and I kind of am glad that he has died.
The Idaho State Police actually had him, like you said, on their radar.
Yeah.
For what he did in the Capitol building and everything. So, and there was another. Some other agency. Well, I mean, I know the security at the mall, but I thought there was another agency involved too that had him on their radar.
I don't know.
Anyway, they were watching him. I don't know if they thought that this was going to happen like this, but they were definitely looking for him or.
Right.
Looking at him, I guess.
And I think it's interesting too. And we've talked about it before. And I don't know if this is a product of the exponential growth that we've had here over the last year. I want to say 2 years, but really over the last year. I don't know if this is a product of that, but we have talked about it as the population grows, especially in Boise. Boise is bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
In fact, Boise is listed as the second highest priced place to live in the country right now.
Yeah, but it's one of the fastest growing too.
Yes. And, as you get that and you get more crime because more people are coming in, right? And you have an economy that's not doing great, right?
Yep.
And so then you get people who are more desperate. And I'm not saying that's what caused this, but I don't know why the guy came to Idaho. I don't know if it's because we had that law in place that he could carry his fire. I have no idea. But I think we're going to start seeing more and more of this type of stuff as
unfortunately, because in the last
people move in.
The last 12 days, there has been 5 officer involved shootings, I believe is what they were saying
in Idaho. I know
in Boise.
Really?
Yeah.
And I know just a couple days, the day after, or a couple days later, I know on Friday, Mountain Home, which is just a little ways up the road, up the interstate from us, they had a school lockdown before school even started. And then there was a threat made in Jerome.
Yeah. So that was like a mass thing that went out over like social media
to all the schools.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the schools. It originated in Florida, and it was a fraudulent thing.
It was a fraudulent thing. Okay. Well, you never can.
You never know, though. Yeah.
You can't be too safe.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a scary deal, man. I mean, we've had one school shooting this year, plus in that same school, another gun was taken there. So a second time there was not a shooting. And then there's this all of a sudden. This stuff doesn't happen in Idaho.
No.
It does not happen. This proves a point. Why you need to be ready, why you need to, think about prepare to protect yourself and your family, because you never know when something like this might happen.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, they are looking. You need to be able to prepare yourself to be able to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Get that out. It's like a freaking tongue twister.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you also need to go ahead and know when you need to stand down and when you need to be careful. And because later on that same day or the next day, the article came out that same day. There was some, and I don't know who it was. It was some society, and I could try and look it up. But there's some right-wing type meeting going on up in Boise. And this guy was talking, And this guy stood up and they're talking about everything that was going on. This guy stood up in the back and they gave him the microphone, and he wanted to know when they could start shooting people, when he could start killing people, when enough was enough with our country, when we're losing elections, they're stealing elections, they're doing this, they're trying to force the vaccinations on us, they're raising gas prices, they want to take our Second Amendment rights. And he actually flat came out and said, when can we start killing people?
Jeez.
You have to be careful.
That's an end to a means, or like an end to it all.
Well, you have to be careful right now because everyone's so on edge, and the left, the government, right? They want your guns, and they're trying to get them any way that they can. And be honest with you, they're having a hell of a time doing it. And so they would love, and they're going to push. They would love to have someone come in and do something and go off and just go crazy and start shooting people or rise up or something stupid, so they can come in and say,
just give them reason.
We need to take your guns. You guys can't have them. You're not responsible with them.
Can't handle it.
Here's martial law, and this is what we're going to do. Right. Bye-bye guns. Ooh, the bubbly. So I don't know, man. Be careful. It's out there. It's coming.
And the more, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of the stupidity that's causing it. I mean, I don't want to speak for the people at the hospital. I don't want to speak for law enforcement, that met this guy in the parking lot, and the hospital people that, took him in when they brought him in. To me, when the guy died, I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, no one cared. Really.
We don't have to deal with the rest of it. I mean, the
not
people
going to cost us any money. There's no trial.
The two people that were killed, I feel very bad for them. I feel bad for their families. I'm very sympathetic to their, what's happened, and the people that were shot, the officer that was shot. And that's, sorry to say, but that's the best thing that could have happened.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. I think so. I mean, he's not able to, he doesn't get his little 15 minutes of fame.
Nope.
He doesn't get to make a point. He doesn't get to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't get to rile up anyone else. He's done. It's over. It's gone.
Yeah. And I don't want, I don't know. I know you have to take the oath when you're in the health industry and doing that stuff. That guy came in after doing what he did. I'd have just been like,
we fixed him up. Let's just give him the COVID.
Yeah. I'm just like, put a few stitches in him. He'll be all right. I don't know. I know that's the wrong way of thinking, but why should somebody like that get help?
Sorry about the cough.
Yeah, no.
You got me all excited.
And don't talk about coffins this close to Halloween.
That's right. So, let's talk about, we talked about it before. Let's talk about that what's that actor's name? Alec Baldwin.
One of the Baldwins.
Yeah. So some more information came out. So
the SAG.
Yeah.
Screen Actors Guild.
I found some articles talking about, whose fault is it? That's what everyone's been asking me, right? Well, it's Alec Baldwin's fault. It's a lot of things that led up to it.
I think there's a lot of,
but it officially it's the person that pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
They're the one.
They're ultimately the ones responsible. Yeah.
You should have safety checked the gun. You should have done this. You should have done that.
You know your target. You know what's beyond it. Yeah. All of that stuff comes into play here.
Yep. And so I was actually reading an article, and people are asking me, how could a blank round do this? Well, I read an article where law enforcement was talking about how when they showed up, they actually found live rounds. They found they found blanks, and then they found a dummy round. And dummy round looks like an actual bullet, but there's no powder or anything in it, and it's got a hole drilled in the side of it, right? It's just for camera, visual effects, whatever. And so they actually found those 3 rounds there. And another guy was talking about the fact that after the person was shot, they ran over, picked up the gun, opened it up, and they popped out the empty case, and it was a live round case. So
see, something else that I don't think anybody's thought of. I was just thinking about this. Bruce Lee's son,
Brandon
Lee, he died on the set of The Crow or something like that. This was a long time ago. But what had happened in that situation is the gun they were using, they were firing live rounds out of it, and I think they had like a squib load.
Is that what happened?
That had the bullet only didn't exit the barrel.
Yeah.
So it was still in the barrel, and they loaded blanks in it. And then when they fired it, it pushed that.
Well, yeah,
it pushed that out.
That makes sense too, because
that potentially could have been something that happened.
It was a 44, as it was the caliber of the one on the Crow, and so it makes sense that if they were firing live rounds out of it for the movie or whatever, it makes total sense to me that maybe they would be underpowered loads, and so you have more of a chance of actually having a squib load.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not saying that's what it was, but that's a possibility. I just thought of it.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been.
You're welcome. No.
Who knows? But in my mind, it's his fault. Is he going to go down for it? I doubt it.
Probably not. They're going to say it was an accident, of course, even though it was negligence. But
it was negligence, but it was unintentional. So that was involuntary manslaughter. Is what it's going to be. Which, I mean, I don't think he actually intended to kill anyone.
No, I'm sure he probably did.
And I'm not saying what he did was right, because it definitely wasn't. But someone needs to pay.
Well,
you and me wouldn't get off.
No, not at all.
So there's that. And we filled up the show pretty good today. Do you want to talk about, I got one clip. It's a little boring. Do you want to listen to this judiciary?
Yeah, I kind of want to hear it.
Okay. I've actually got two clips. We're just going to play this next one, and it's a little dry, but I kind of like it a little bit. So what it is it's a Judiciary Committee hearing, and he's got Chip Roy. He's a Republican from Texas, and he's making a statement about the Second Amendment, and he is kind of debating Jerry Nader? Jerry Nader,
probably
a Democrat from New York. So I'll go ahead and play that, and we will talk about it during or after or whenever we damn well feel like.
That's right.
So there we go.
Strike the last word.
That the gentleman is recognized.
Well, as a gentlelady on the other side of the aisle, I too live in Texas. Raised my son, daughter to respect firearms. We shoot them frequently on our property. We shoot semi-automatic weapons on my property. I teach my children how to use them safely. I teach them what they're used for, why we have the ability to have firearms. And yes, we use it for hunting. My son shot his first deer.
Would the gentleman yield for a question?
Briefly.
Yeah, very question. What do you use semi-automatic weapons for?
I use semi-automatic weapons to kill hogs. I use semi-automatic weapons for sport and shooting on our property. But I also have semi-automatic weapons, and I'm getting to the point.
Thank you.
Because a semi-automatic weapon is a weapon that you can use for self-defense. It is a semi-automatic weapon that you can use to defend yourself against home invaders, but also, let's be clear, against tyranny. The gentlelady is talking about the Second Amendment in the context of hunting, as if my rights are reduced in the Constitution to a 410 or a single shot or lever action 22, as if that was what was expressly put forth as how we're supposed to be defending ourselves.
Yield again?
And let me go ahead and finish my time, sir, unless we want to add more time.
Very, very quickly, question.
But I need more time. Will the gentleman give me another 30 seconds?
Yes.
Okay, I'll yield.
You said that you could use a semi-automatic weapon to fight tyranny.
Sure.
You mean you'd use it against American troops?
The very existence of
American troops shouldn't be acting on American citizens on American soil, because that's what's called posse comitatus. And that's illegal.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
You can't do that.
You can't sick your own military on your own people.
The fact that guy is actually asking that question tells you they don't give a rat's ass about anything.
Yeah.
They don't care.
You know, the U.S. military is comprised of people that are they're like you, they're like me, they're all our neighbors. I mean, they're all part of America. They're all American citizens. Why would they go? Anyway.
Anyhow, I'm not going to play any more of that clip. It's a good clip, but it's super dry and super boring, and I'm going to go to sleep.
But he didn't get his 30 seconds back. No.
I like the fact that, he talked about the semi-automatic weapons, and he said, I use it for hunting. I use it for this. I use it for that. And I use it for protecting myself. Yeah. And we have them to stand up against a tyrannical government.
Yeah. But like he said, you're not just relegated to a 22 lever action or a 410 single shot.
Yeah. Well, who do they think is standing outside the doors of that Judiciary Committee chamber?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think they have on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably still have the walls up around that.
They're not
too, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
But walls don't work. Remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're not standing out there with freaking, cap guns.
Yeah.
I mean, they're semi-autos,
Don't
right?
make me go bang.
We're past the days of old revolvers, too.
This little thing, this flag is going to come out the barrel and say bang.
So protect your right, stand up to them, because what we got going on right now in my mind is a tyrannical government, and they're getting more and more tyrannical every single day.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous.
It is getting ridiculous. And as they move on and as they move forward and they find out it's going to be harder and harder, I think they're going to rain down on us more. They're just going to become, like I said, more and more.
The fact that our government is involved in every stinking little thing in this country is beyond me. Like, why do they need to be involved in 90% of the stuff that happens in this country?
They want to know when you deposit $600 in your bank account.
They want to know when you take out $600 and what you bought. That's none of their business.
Hell, I want to know when I deposit $600 in my bank account too.
Let me know.
That right there, my friend, is gun money.
If it's $600 in my bank account, I'm gonna be like, where did that come from?
That's like 200 rounds I could go buy.
I better go cash that out before somebody knows.
Yeah, if it's in there and someone takes it out, I need to know what my wife's up to. Please let me know. No. Anyhow, well, friend, I think it was good getting you on here again. Finally, I'm glad I texted you.
Yeah, you're like, are you working? And I'm like, well, technically, yeah, but only for another 5 minutes.
I didn't feel like doing this by myself today. It's getting dark outside.
Yeah,
I get a little scared. It's spooky out here.
You got that big black dog running around out here.
I do, that big old black dog. But no, I appreciate you coming out, Mark. Like always, and I guess we're just gonna finish up with a little business here. I tell you what, if you guys got comments or questions or anything, and whoa,
easy now.
Whoa, got a little ahead of myself here.
Yeah. Put the brakes on.
Put it on. I gotta do a shout out. Kind of a shout out. There is a gentleman.
Do it in Chinese, it'd be funnier. Oh, okay, never mind.
So there goes all our listeners. So we got a Joshua. I don't know how to say his name. Joshua Joshua. Anyhow, okay. You've emailed me and you've now text messaged me. And I saw your email about a week ago and I did not respond to it because, frankly, I forgot. I did receive your text message today and I will be responding to you. So don't give up the ghost. But see, I'm using this as a fact that I will respond to you. Call me, text me, area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. And I usually respond right away, but I think I saw Joshua's thing when I was driving and you're not supposed to look on the phone anyway.
Right.
I glance at it and I'm like, okay. And then I get to singing like Duran Duran and
oh yeah.
Phil Collins. And then I freaking forget by the time I get
80s
home.
Music is the bomb.
That's right. A little bit of Madonna.
No.
But anyhow, so call me, text me if you got a story, you got any questions, you got any comments, I will respond. And I want to say thank you if you're watching us on YouTube Live. It's been kind of dead tonight, and I was wondering why. And I think it's because people are out trick-or-treating.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't think that.
Good point. Yeah. So I tell you what, you gather up all that, your candy corn, and you can sit down when you get home.
Bring it to me.
You like candy corn?
Oh, I love candy corn.
I hate candy corn.
Oh.
So I picked all the dark chocolate out of my I don't even have to do anything. I love dark chocolate.
Oh, okay. If I get any, you can have it because I hate dark chocolate.
Do you?
Dark chocolate, yeah.
Will you save it for me?
If I get any, yeah. I usually don't ever get any. So
love dark chocolate.
It's all yours.
Save the dark chocolate for me, everyone. Send it to me. You can send it to me at Patriot Defense, P.O. Box 124, Filer, Idaho 83328.
You better be careful because they're going to send you like dark chocolate with razor blades instead.
I'll check. I'll give it. I'll let my kid try it first.
There you go.
So
that's how you're supposed to do it.
I melt it all down, and so if the microwave burns up, we know that there's metal in there.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I like dark chocolate, so send that to me. The darker, the better. But where was I at? Thank you for watching YouTube Live. Share it with your family and friends if you want to help. That would be fantastic. Thanks for listening to the audio version of this as a podcast. Do appreciate that, and thank you to all those who have joined the Patreon. All the patron members, I do appreciate you. I appreciate all your support. And I did get 2 more videos up this last week now that I can actually talk again. I got some videos up. Then remember, if you have joined Patreon from the beginning, from here till the end of the year, you are going to get put into a drawing for a raffle for a lifetime Patriot membership at Front Sight at Front Sight over in Pahrump, Nevada. And whoever I draw out of that, I will transfer that over to you. Once again, that is a lifetime Patriot membership. And there's a handful of classes that you can go and take whenever you want, as many times as you want, till you die. And I think you can actually transfer that thing too. When you get older and you decide you don't want to do it anymore.
Nice.
But get signed up. It's like $5 a month. It's cheap.
Can I just say something really quick?
Yes.
If you're listening to this in your car, honk your horn right now. Okay,
we heard.
I hope they did it.
But I think someone out there a half mile away on the road, right? So yeah, if you sign up for that, we'll get you put in that raffle, and you can enjoy those videos, those how-to videos and whatnot. And sometimes I throw out extra podcasts. I didn't get an extra one. Maybe there's still tomorrow. I throw out a little extra ranty podcast on there sometimes.
Yeah, you can do the trick or treat podcast. There you go.
Trick or treat. Trick or treat.
Smell my feet. No?
Give me something good. Never. Okay, we're done. We're
dragging this out.
We're dragging this out. But thanks for all your support. If you do not want to become a Patreon, I understand that. That is quite all right. But if you want to help the show grow, still go share the show. And that is enough for me. Share the show on social media. Share it with your friends. All that good stuff. Subscribe to YouTube. All that good stuff. I'm going to quit talking. I think we're going to go. I'm going to go see if my kids got any dark chocolate. I wonder if they went anywhere today.
Dang.
But until then, we will see you guys. Next week. Bye. Thanks for joining us on YouTube Live. We are out of here. Brian Garcia. Let's go, Brandon. I like it. Let's go, Brandon. Bam. I like it. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming, Brian. I do appreciate that. And where's that button? We are out.